Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today, we're going to review the MEGIR 8405 GMT watch. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing this Bertucci DX3 with the Enzo dial. And Grogo is still wearing my Skimmy 2100. Grogo said that Princess Leia found out about another illegal spice mine on Kessel. The princess learned about it from an escaped prisoner who used to be a silent street performer in Anchorhead. She said, "Mine eyes have seen the quarry." All right, let's take a look at the watch. It comes in this box. Have the instructions, and that's about it. There were no tools or anything. And all I have in here are the extra links I took out. And here's the watch. This is the first MEGIR on my channel. This is a GMT watch with the Ronda 515 Quartz movement. Although Ronda is a Swiss company, not all of their movements are considered Swiss made, as some are Swiss parts assembled in Thailand. I've reviewed quite a few sub $100 GMT watches with this movement, but at $40, this is by far the cheapest. This MEGIR is solid stainless steel with a sapphire crystal and a decent movement for $40. So what is the catch? Well, when one thinks GMT watch with a Pepsi Bezel, one thinks they have the ability to track 3 time zones, but you would be wrong. This watch has a fixed bezel that does not rotate, so 2 time zones is the limit. I ordered the Batman bezel, but then the AliExpress store I ordered it from reached out to me and said they were all out of Batman and asked me if I would take a Pepsi, so I said sure. At the time of this review, they are still all out of Batman. If the lack of rotating bezel bugs you because it is not watch appropriate, they also make the 8404, which looks like an Explorer 2 whose bezel doesn't rotate. The watch is 42 millimeters at the bezel, 51.9 millimeters lug to lug with inverted end links. It's only 11.3 millimeters thick if you don't count the Cyclops, and I never do. Has a 22 millimeter lug width and weighs 150 grams on the supplied bracelet with 4 links removed. Then if you look at the bezel, we have an aluminum insert because this is a Pepsi. It's hard to make ceramic Pepsi bezels, so you're never going to get ceramic on a watch in this price range. I don't know if the Batman bezel is ceramic or not because I didn't get the Batman, which is one of the reasons why I wanted a Batman. More than likely that $40 is probably not ceramic. Bezel does not rotate. It's a fixed bezel, as I mentioned in the montage. So you're only going to be able to track 2 time zones. Then, of course, you don't have to worry about alignment or clicks or anything like that then because it doesn't rotate. Then we have the dial. The dial is a flat black with no sunburst effect. Then we have the MEGIR name up top. And then it says GMT Master Professional Diver. Professional diver, well, it's got 50 meters water resistance. No, it's not a professional diver. I just think sometimes these Chinese companies just start throwing words on the dial that they think look cool, but they really don't know because they're not native English speakers. Then we have the indices. They're basically Rolex style with the triangle up top and batons at the 6 and the 9 and dots everywhere else. And then we have the hands. We have the fence post minute hand, the Mercedes hour hand, lollipop second hand, which seems to miss the marks. And then we have the GMT hand here. And the GMT hand is loomed. And then we have a date at the 3 with a Cyclops. And look at that magnification. I always say if you're going to have a Cyclops, then have a Cyclops. And this Cyclops does some serious magnification, so that's always nice. There's nothing worse than having a Cyclops that hardly magnifies, because then you have the inconvenience of a Cyclops with none of the advantage. So well done there. Then we have an unsigned push-pull crown. This only has 50 meters water resistance, so you don't get a screw down. And then we have a flat sapphire crystal. And yes, I know a lot of AliExpress watches in this price range tell a few fibs, but I tested it and it is indeed sapphire. And then we have the case. The case is solid stainless steel. It's brushed on top, polished on the sides. And as you can see, the lugs are pretty long, so it makes for a pretty big lug to lug. It would have been nice if they would have kept the lugs a little shorter. But it's a nice thin case. So the watch is 11.3 millimeters thick, so that's pretty thin for a watch of this size. And then we have the case back. The case back is a screw down polished, and it has the MEGIR name up top. Then it says all stainless steel, and it is. And then it says 5 ATM water resistant. So yeah, you could probably use some more water resistance. But I guess you're never going to take this in the pool anyway, so who cares? Underneath the case back is the Ronda 515 movement, and this of course is as I mentioned, the Montage Ronda makes Swiss-made movements, and they also make movements with Swiss parts that are assembled in Thailand. There's no way the $40 watch is going to have the Swiss-made. And personally, why would you pay extra for Swiss-made when the watch isn't Swiss-made? So assembled in Thailand should be fine. It's the same exact movement. It just people from Thailand put it together instead of people from Switzerland. And as you can see, though, the second hand is missing the marks, but that's not really I don't think the movement's fault. The bracelet is solid steel with solid end links that are inverted. And one nice thing about it too is the bracelet is fully articulating. So the center links articulate, they're not fixed with the side links. So that's always nice. We have push pin adjusters. You're not going to get screw pins at $40 usually. And I don't mind push pins at all anyway, as I mention almost every review when I do have push pins. Then we have a butterfly clasp. Personally, I wish they would have had a different style clasp because you don't get any micro adjust. And this is a 150 gram watch, so you want the perfect fit because it's fairly heavy. And you can't always get the perfect fit with the butterfly clasp unless you at least have half links, and you do not. Now, the links aren't quite as big as your typical oyster style links, which is one nice thing, but still, it'd be nice to have at least a couple holes of micro adjust. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. It looks nice. It wears nice. I was lucky. I got the perfect fit despite no micro adjust. And it is, I mean, for $40, you are getting quite a bit of watch here. It's big though, but because of the case back is so thin, it wears nice and flat. Here we are in the Lume room. You're getting a lot of watch for $40, so let's see if they save money on the Lume. As we speed up the time, we see that we have pretty good C3 Lume, including the GMT hand. As time goes by, the indices begin to fade, but the hands are much better. It's always nice when an AliExpress watch has better hand lume than index lume because it's usually the opposite. The GMT hand isn't as good and is barely better than the indices, but still, I wouldn't call it excellent lume, but we'd call it pretty darn good lume for a $40 watch. What do I like about this watch? Well, you're getting a solid steel GMT watch with a sapphire crystal and a decent movement for $40. Excellent Cyclops, really magnifies. Has inverted end links, which is a saving grace because the lug-to-lug is pretty big. And the bracelet's plenty big. I had to remove 4 links, so you should be able to wear this if you have an 8.5-inch wrist, no problem. What are my gripes and groans? Long lugs make lug-to-lug really big. The bezel doesn't rotate. The butterfly clasp with no micro adjust makes getting the perfect fit difficult on such a big watch. Do I recommend this watch? Well, sure, I do, but that all depends on whether or not you care if the bezel rotates or not. If you care if the bezel rotates because you want to track 3 time zones, then get another watch. If you care that it doesn't rotate because it's not homage appropriate for the watch's homaging, then you might want to get the 8404, which is an homage to Explorer 2, which doesn't rotate. Or if you just want a nice looking watch though, and you don't care that the bezel doesn't rotate, then you're getting a pretty good watch for $40. Well, thank you for watching my review of the MEGIR 8405, and I will be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.